It's a high chaos ball, a wobbler. Oh, Reynolds, favoured by the bounce. He's going to turn it round the body, and he's got enough on it.
Yes, welcome to Before the Bounce. Hope you can stay with us for a bit of time. We've got plenty to talk about on the show. My host, as always, the great Barry Curtin. Baz, how are you?
Fantastic, mate. I'm a bit of a surprise. I'm in here tonight.
Well, Ando, unfortunately, mate, not too good, the Ando. He's had a little mini stroke. I don't know if you call it a mini stroke, a maxi stroke, but he's had a stroke and he's well. I spoke to him today. Yep. He's on the road to recovery, but it was a pretty scary time for him.
Yeah, well, they are scary, but he's recovered remarkably well from what I hear, which is great, as all poor people do. And he might even be good enough to return next week, mate. But I believe he does want the main chair when he comes back. So
does he? Good
luck. Get some golf in or something like that, and me and Ando will handle it. I hope he's okay. And I'm sure everyone out there in the world of footy and everywhere else will join us in wishing Ando
speedy recovery.
Yep. He's one of the great guys. Ando.
He's a ripper.
I know we take the mickey out of him a bit.
Yep.
Because he's the long hair and he will self-profess good looks and all that sort of stuff that he believes.
Yeah, I don't want to talk ill of him while he's had a stroke. I don't know where he gets that bit he's good looking. I've never heard anyone else say that but Ando.
Well, that's right.
Have you?
No, that's true.
He's good at self-promoting.
Oh,
and he could sell sand to anybody. So anyway, look, we'll get on to it, mate. Of course, we've got the Ray White North Adelaide sponsorship and great people down there at North Adelaide. Been down to the setup down there. She has got a ripping setup. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, they've got an
absolute beauty.
Reputation. Ray White.
Yep, they certainly do, mate. Okay, what we're going to come off on is the AFLW season. Yep. I want to get to you about that. Is it too short? Round 4, some of the results were blowouts, so I'm wondering if Channel 7 are concerned about the ratings. David Noble, where's he sit after, the third round out? 4 rounds in. Is there a coach looking in the rearview mirror as the cars are starting to pull up behind him and squeal the brakes? I reckon there's a break. So we need to get to a quick break. There's a couple of ones. I want to have a chat with you too about Texie Walker.
Yep.
And Damien Hardwick's comments about some of the players could get taken.
Them.
Absolutely, or lending them any player. Some of the young players that are sitting there in the reserves not getting a chance to play. So we'll come back from the break. Plenty to talk about. Welcome back to Before the Bounce. Now, we want to talk about the AFLW. Want to get onto that first. There was a lady, Kate O'Halloran is her name. Now, she wrote this article earlier in the week, mate, and this was the line. And it was a decent article, but I'm just wondering where we're going.
Is this the one with all the comparisons?
No. That was a different one. So Kate's written after a blistering 9th round and the longest season in AFLW history. That's 9 rounds. The calls for an extended home and away campaign seem well and truly justified. So my first question to Kate is, who's making the calls to extend? Because I don't reckon it's the AFL that are making the calls to extend. No. And the second one to Kate is, who's going to pay for it? So who's going to pay for the extra games? Now, I have 3 daughters, so I'm 100% behind AFLW. Yep. But business tells me that it's not making any money. No. So the AFL are paying for it. So if you extend this season, then you're extending the debt. So I'm saying to Kate, it's a ripping idea, Kate, as long as you're prepared to put some of your salary in to compensate for the loss. Because I reckon the AFL are doing a fantastic job of supporting the women. Yeah. And let's not be too greedy in asking for more and more and more when the product isn't making money.
I just think the girls have got to be thankful for what they've got. Now, I know.
And there's no harm in asking, but be reasonable.
I've got no issue with that at all.
Yep.
And I know that there'll be people out there who go, you're a dinosaur or whatever. But I'm telling you now, I watched Collingwood in North Melbourne the other day.
Yep.
You are miles and miles away from anywhere near equality as far as money goes or games go.
Sure.
They've been going for 3 years. Look, this is my opinion and my opinion only.
Yep.
AFLW, or not AFLW, but women's games should have been a state-based competition. It should have been a state-based competition, which would have allowed the girls to play state of origin games against Victoria and Western Australia and that sort of thing. Because I think they've gone in too big, too quick. That game, Collingwood and North Melbourne, I don't care what anybody says. Whoever watched that game, and I know there'd be thousands out there that agree with me that the game was. I had to turn it off. The game wasn't good. It's not a good game. There are a number of players on each side which are okay. You can say Erin Phillips is a classic case. She's the best player in the competition by a mile. The gap between her and a lot of the other players in the AFLW is absolutely massive. Look, full credit from having a crack.
Yep.
I don't mind that. But it was a knee-jerk reaction by the AFL back in 2017 to get them in the competition on the back of the Matildas,
Yep.
Australian women's soccer team, having so much success.
Yep.
Because initially the AFL said no, the AFLW will not come in until 2020. That was the initial plan.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, 2017, bang, they're in. Everybody's in. Not everybody's in, but the clubs.
Enough to get it
Adelaide put their hand up, go and win a flag, you beauty. But if you look at it now, they're averaging around about 1,800 people that they're charging to get in. I'll ask you a question. Who and when do the Crows play this weekend?
Yeah, I can't tell you.
AFLW.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is my point. It's not, look.
Well, that's probably out of ignorance by me not knowing that. So
But
I'm not opposed to the women playing.
Neither am I.
And I
Neither
think
am I.
the AFL bringing them in
Neither am I.
early, understand that. And I get your point that the school level's down, but it's improving every year.
It is improving.
I'm just raising the point purely on a business
Oh,
decision
well, then,
that
yeah.
stay with the 9 rounds.
Yeah.
It's starting to get a little bit of momentum. There's a deficit in there that's fairly heavy. I don't think you want to increase the deficit and then come and say, the players are working hard. I fully support that, and they should get paid, but it's not generating the money to get that. But if you increase the rounds, you're increasing the debt.
Yeah.
The chances for the players to get more is not going to happen.
Yeah, that's
I just think
And there
put
is
the
a
brakes
fitness
on
issue too.
and let it get solid
There's a fitness
before
issue
you
as well.
start increasing stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
In defence of that, of course, you can say, well, some of the AFL men team don't make money. And I agree with that. The TV ratings are what give them the money to keep them going. So at some point, if you're not making enough money, then the whole thing doesn't work. So
Well, okay.
I just think let it sit,
Yeah.
get solid, and then talk about increasing.
Well,
That's
I just
what
think the
I'm
money that's being poured into AFLW at the minute should have been poured into an AFL reserves competition. No doubts, because that's where your money is. That's where the footballers of the future are. That you got a national reserves competition.
Yep.
Pour 600K into that, or a couple of million into that,
Well, that
and get it going. Because eventually that's going to happen. So,
Well-
and they cannot house 3.
no, they can't.
They
But-
can't do AFL,
Yes.
AFL reserves, and AFLW.
So the AFL is what makes the money.
Yep.
The reserves are going to give you the players that come through to increase the talent for the show, if that's what
Exactly.
we want to call it, that makes it better.
Yeah.
So I understand that. Anyway, on a good note, the AFL, I reckon they've been unbelievably supportive. They've also changed the game at round 5 between the Bulldogs and Gold Coast. They've bumped that one out now to start later after 4 o'clock. And the women will have the grand final now on Saturday, April the 17th. It'll start at 2 o'clock. Now, it could be played in Adelaide, could be played at the MCG, or it could be at the Gabba, depending on what the prelim final. Stay interested a little bit, mate.
Sorry, mate.
You've switched off, haven't you?
It should be at North
All right,
Oval.
we'll just put a line right through that, and we don't care. All right, I want to ask you about this one then, mate. Moving on
You're on to
quickly.
me then.
Yeah, okay. The AFL.
Yeah.
Are they concerned a little bit about the blowouts on the weekend? Now, I'll just give you these ones.
Yeah.
Carlton 45-point winners over Freo. Melbourne 34-point winners over GWS. West Coast 37 over the Power. Essendon 75 over St Kilda. The Doggies 128 over North Melbourne.
Yep.
Sydney by 45 over Richmond. So realistically, there were 3 decent games. Collingwood-Brisbane was a mark, kick after the siren. That was an absolute beauty. So if you weren't at the game, you're watching that on TV and you're going, this is a good one.
Yeah.
The Crows by 10 over the Gold Coast, but Gold Coast also had probably the least viewing audience of any of the teams currently, or maybe GWS. And then Geelong by 5 points over Hawthorn. So my question to you is the AFL a little bit concerned that people are sitting at home turning the TV off, Channel 7 going, hang on a minute, the sponsors are paying a lot of money.
Yeah.
We need them to stay and watch the whole game.
Yeah.
We don't mind the odd blowout, but that's too many.
Okay. I think that will sort itself out. I really do.
Okay.
The more games you play,
Yep.
the more the coaches will learn, how to combat that man on the mark rubbish and whatever.
Yep.
So that will come back. At the moment, there are a couple of sides that are real good at it. The real quick sides, they're real good at it. They go
Yep.
bang, bang, and off they go. There's where your scores are coming from.
Sure.
But I think that the coaches will get around that. They get around everything else, mate. And I reckon by about round 7, round 8, it'll start to level out nicely. You'll start to see a few
I
more
want you to
players.
know, mate, that you've walked right into my trap by
Excellent.
saying that.
Excellent.
So the coaches are going to work it out. So hang on, let me just check for a minute. Hang on, we took 3.8 million off of the coaches' budget. So the coaches had to refine. They had to get rid of some coaches or cut their salaries. We've asked them to do more work. We're worried about their mental health. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
We'll let them sort this one out as well.
Yeah, and
There's
do
not
it.
enough coaches, mate.
They'll do it, mate.
No, they can't.
They'll do it.
So the issue with
Look
this,
at the
though,
Geelong
mate,
Hawthorn game.
I'm telling you now, the issue with this is that the skill level is what is starting to lack, and the style of game. There's not enough coaches to get it going. Well, they're not going to change the rotation.
No,
You know how I feel about that one.
Yeah.
But if the coaches are already being asked to do more work because there's less of them, because of COVID and the budget cuts, to then say to them, we want you to put more time into getting the skill levels up and adjusting the style of game, when are they going to do that?
Oh, they'll do it.
I sat with some coaches from 3 or 4 different clubs over the last 2 weeks. These guys rock up to breakfast, mate. They've got their computers out while they're eating their food and they're talking about their tactics. Then they're off to training, they come home. Then they've got the computers out. Then they're scouting. There's not enough hours, mate.
Did you hear?
They're only getting 5 or 6 hours of sleep. Scotty?
Did you hear him yesterday? What he said?
Yes.
Would you like to see your brother back in coaching? He said no, and they said why?
Yeah.
And he said because it's not a very good job.
No, it's not. Because the hours they work
me?
are horrendous.
Mate, how much money do you reckon Scotty would go at Geelong?
900 to $1 million
Whoa.
a season.
Well, mate.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Well.
Yep.
You do.
You reckon?
I'd be quite happy to do
All right.
the old breakfast thing.
How much do you reckon Gillen's on?
Well, it's
What would he
irrelevant.
be on? 2 or 3 mil?
Yeah, but he doesn't make the
Do you
decisions
reckon?
like these
Do you
guys
reckon
do.
he's working as many hours as these blokes?
I reckon he's worked a lot of hours, mate.
Oh,
I think he works
So
a lot of
what?
hours.
So if they were getting 3 mil or 4 mil to work, he's working probably the same hours, but he's getting extra 2 or 3 mil.
All I'm saying is with these blokes, these coaches, they're smart boys.
How long do they last?
They
mate?
will work.
How
They
long
will work it out.
How long do they last? These coaches, mate. How long do they last?
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
10 years is about your max.
Yeah,
isn't
I
it?
think so.
Yep.
I think
and
so.
then they
yeah.
burn out.
Pretty much.
Yeah. How long's the administrator?
That's the
How long's an
game, mate.
administrator last for, mate?
Don't talk to me about
30 or 40 years?
I don't want to talk about
No, I'm just asking you. Is that fair though? 30 or 40 years?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
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 So I'm saying there's a limit, and I agree with you. The coaches are smart and they'll work it out.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to struggle during the season to work some of the things out because they're understaffed.
Because they haven't got the people.
Yeah. So I reckon it's a
No,
pretty
it's fair.
simple.
Look, it's not a bad point.
All right, while we're talking about that, David Noble at North Melbourne at the
Oh,
moment, mate. I'm defending Nobes at this stage after 3 rounds because, again, I'm not talking about the intricacies of the game and the style of game that he's trying to play, and we could sit here and debate that, but has he got any talent? Has he got much talent?
No.
So he's got less talent than probably all the other teams?
No,
so he's got
I
some,
shouldn't say,
but not as much.
Because there are a couple of really good players.
Yep.
Young players.
Yep.
I can't pronounce
That doesn't
the guy's
matter. So
name.
he's got some, but not...
Absolutely.
Has he
He's
got
a
less
few-
than everyone else?
Yes, he has.
Yeah. So he's already behind the 8 ball there.
Yeah.
So now my understanding is that Paul Roos is there a couple of days a week helping.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a word.
Where are you, Paul?
From Roosie.
Where's Paul?
Not exactly right. I wouldn't mind if he came out and said, you've got to understand
Yeah.
that this is a rebuild. It's going to take a few years. I'm just wondering when people are losing,
Yeah.
who's jumped to help and support David Noble. It kind of looks to me like he's on a bit of an island at the moment.
Yeah.
I am having a bit of a go, but I'd like to see some people gather around and say, hey, this is a long haul.
Yeah.
Give him some support.
Well, I think he's got to get a little bit of support.
Yeah.
You know, you can't.
Have you
sort
heard
of
any yet?
Chop him. None.
No, that's my point.
None. But like he's got nobody, and I mean, when I say no, that's a bit unfair to a lot of good players.
He's
there.
limited.
But he's very limited.
Yeah.
That's what he's done, and he keeps losing players every week. He lost Polek last week, and he's not losing his fringes. He's losing the good ones.
Yep.
Just like Leon Cameron is.
Yep. We'll come to Leon in a minute.
I feel for Noble. I feel for Noble at the moment because will they play Adelaide this weekend?
Yep.
Ooh, you know. Wow.
So then my last question at you. So the
Go
style
Nobes.
of game that Nobes is trying to put in is fast, free-flowing footy.
Yeah.
So obviously when you play fast, free-flowing footy, if you turn the ball over, be it footy, be it basketball, be it soccer, it doesn't matter, team sport, you turn the ball over, you're going to get punished the other way.
Yeah, you are.
Now he has
At
to
that
make a
level.
choice to go, hang on a minute, I want to put this in and we're going to have to do this for 2 or 3 years and we're a fair bit of pain and then finally things will start to go. Or does he go, nah, pull the flags down, we'll just play dead slow footy. So when we lose, it's boring as bats, but we're only going to lose by 20 points instead of trying to bring a style of game that we'll eventually get to, but we're going to have to wear some 100-point losses along the way.
Needs a
Which way
defence
should he
first.
go?
I think he needs a defence first attitude right now. He definitely needs it.
Yep.
Go defence first. Go defence first. The players know how to go bang,
Yep.
but do they know how to defend? And I don't think they do.
No.
I watched North Melbourne. I think, mate, well, you're standing next to this guy 1 minute, and next minute he's at half forward getting a kick, and this bloke's still standing there. It happened a few times with North Melbourne against Port. I noticed it as well.
Yep.
Where they didn't run. They only ran one way. You've got to go back that way. You've got to go back that way. If you don't, 120 points. That's what's going to happen to you because you leave your defenders at risk.
Right.
Risk.
I think he's in a really difficult spot.
He's just got to go in
I
a
think
bit
his
of a defence.
Talented is limited, and he
Yeah.
may have to show. Leon Cameron, you touched on him, mate. Now, signed a 2-year contract last year, and you were saying before we came on air that he hadn't won a game since he signed the contract.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Are we judging him on the fact that he had a lot of talent and the window's closed on them, and now they're going back to, we have to regroup and make another run at it?
Yeah.
Is he being harshly judged because each year they've lost some pretty talented players?
Very talented
Due to players, and the players have all said, want to get back to Melbourne, I want to get back to Perth, I want to get back, I don't like the lifestyle in Sydney. Not one of the players that's left has gone, I don't like the way Leon goes about his business.
No.
Not one.
No, but can I give you this? Because
Yep.
I just had a good look at GWS today.
Yep.
Coniglio, 8 to 10 weeks.
Yep.
These are this year,
Yep.
Phil. This is
Yep.
not, over a couple of years.
Yep.
Daniels, ankle, 6 weeks. Phil Davis, calf, 6 weeks. Matt DeBoer, hamstring, 10 weeks. Hutchison, 7 weeks with another hamstring. Kennedy, shoulder, 10 weeks. Lloyd, quad, 7 weeks. Perryman, glandular fever, 2 weeks. Bruce, the guy they recruited, shoulder, 13 weeks. Reed, suspension 1 week. Lockie Whitfield, gun, absolute gun. He's out for another 4 weeks with a liver complaint. And the only good news that Leon Cameron has had in the last month, whatever, is that Jesse Hogan is finally back on the track and training. That's the so, mate. I'm saying that if Alistair Clarkson had GWS at the moment, they'd
Couldn't
be
do anything
bottom.
with them.
Would not do a thing with them. So,
Is it unlucky or is it bad? Is it bad by the sports science people?
well, I think a few of these,
fitness people, the
I
fitness
think a few of
coaches.
these are collision injuries, but there's a few soft tissues as well.
Yep.
A few hammies and whatever.
Yep.
So you've got to look at your
Just
department.
quickly, how many players did you name there, mate?
I name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Not sure, mate. How many blokes are on the ground?
18.
So you got 6.
There you go.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
So I
mate.
think people
We're
that are
being a
being
little-
critical
Yeah,
might
yeah.
want to take a look at the injuries and the players that he's lost, which have been no fault of his.
Of his. That's
so
right.
when you're talking about getting rid of him, you want to make sure. Anyway, we need to
Be
get
careful. That's what
That's
what
what
you
I'm
gotta do, because
suggesting.
If he had all these players available,
Yep.
would he be losing?
Things might be different.
Would he be losing? Maybe not.
Probably not.
Oh,
You'd like to think so. All right. We need to get to a break. Stay with us. Still a bit more to come. Welcome back to Before the Bounce. Time to get to Cinderella's Cleaning. Of course, you can give Mark a call, 8271 6677. They'll do your bathrooms, they'll do your carpets, they'll do your windows, they'll do your yard.
Do the lot.
Cinderella's managing director, of course, Mark, has asked for this segment, so we have to deliver, mate, for Cinderella's Cleaning. So what we've done the last few weeks is we've picked 2 players.
Yeah.
And we're saying, which one is the cleanest? Which one is the best?
Yeah.
Which one? So I'm asking you, is it Kevin Bartlett or is it Jason Ackermanis? Now, before you make your decision, last week we went Mark Rasciuto
Oh, what a beauty
and
that was.
Michael Voss.
Yeah, what a
You
beauty.
went with Vossi.
I did go with Vossi,
I
yeah.
went with Roo.
Yeah.
One of us won
Yeah.
by 13 votes. So it was close.
Yeah.
And it wasn't you.
Well, surprise.
But
surprise,
appreciate
yeah.
your participation.
Hey,
So I'm
I
giving you a
haven't won
chance.
yet.
Oh, well, that's why I'm nervous about who you pick here, because there's a clear winner for me. Who are you going with?
Oh, Ackermanis. Street. By
Ackermanis.
a street. By a mile. This is called cleanest skills, is it not?
Cleanest skills.
Mark,
All right.
right, yeah.
So you want me to give a little rundown on
I'm just
Acker?
telling you that this bloke, Ackermanis, would be one of the most skillful players that I've seen in the AFL football. There, he's
No
a
doubt.
two-sided
Yep.
player, both hand and foot, which is really, really vital when you start to compare these players. I didn't see Kevin Bartlett too many times go swinging onto the old left and whatever.
Didn't need to.
Well, maybe
Couldn't
he didn't
catch him.
Yeah, well, that's okay, but
Mate, at the same time he was swinging and kicking, he was combing over.
yeah, that's right. He was.
You know, I know where he's going with that. I've done
Well,
it myself.
okay.
KB and I've had this conversation.
Give me some stats.
All right, I'll give you some stats
Oh,
on-
these are their stats.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm just giving you a
all
quick stat overview. Can't
The
give
stats
more
doesn't
because
mean- yeah.
we'd be here all day. So Jason Ackermanis, 325 games. He had 248 games with Brisbane, the Bears and the Lions, but we're calling it Brisbane. He had 77 with the Bulldogs. He was an All-Australian 4 times, 3-time premiership player, of course, with Brisbane. He was in the AFL Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2015. He was the leading goal kicker, funny enough, at Brisbane in 2004. Then 5 years later with the Doggies, he was the leading goal kicker there. So we know he could find the ball, mate. And, of course, he was 2-time best Brisbane fairest. All right? Kevin Bartlett. Of course, there's a statue of KB at the MCG just near the Yarra. Not one of Acker, but I don't want that to put you off because KB would say that's just for the pigeons. Anyway, 403 games, 778 goals, All-Australian player 1968. He played 20 games for Victoria. Of course, he dominated in the VFL. We didn't have the AFL then. He was captain of Victoria as well. He coached the Tigers from 88 to 91, not quite as successful as his playing career, only for 27 wins and 61 losses, but 5 VFL premierships, 5 Richmond best and fairest. He's got a Norm Smith medal. He's captain Richmond. He's in the AFL Hall of Fame as a legend, not just as a player. I asked a couple of people that saw Bartlett play, who I highly respect, and 2 of them said, the question was, is he as good as Dusty Martin? And they said better. Better than Dusty at this stage. So Dusty's got a bit of work to do to be Richmond's greatest player ever. Well, I think Dusty's better. The eras will say that, but I'm just saying people rate him that highly.
Oh, yeah, so do I.
So, again, I come back to you, my question, mate.
There's a stat missing there.
What's the stat, mate?
He had 1 handball.
And he'll say that himself, and that was a mistake. He didn't mean to do it.
He didn't mean to do it.
No, he was probably the greatest, has dropped the footy, get tackled, hold the man without the ball, get a kick, which you now can't do.
That's right.
But just a phenomenal player in his time. So they're 2 different eras.
They are.
2 different eras. But as far as get the footy, being efficient, being clean with it, they're both pretty close. You know, Bartlett didn't get tackled very often with the ball.
No, true.
You know, and of course we weren't the zones then. It was much more man-to-man. So he would have had a tagger on him a lot of times, as would Ackermanis. So I'm going to go with Bartlett. I'm going to go with Bartlett on this one. And I like Acker.
I'm going with Ackermanis, and I'm telling you now, if I lose this one, then there's a problem. We've got a problem. If I lose this, we've got a problem.
Well,
because Jason Ackermanis is clearly cleaner in the skills.
Clearly. Well, I'm not sure that Adrian Roberts is going to agree with you, mate, because he doesn't agree with anything you say.
Is Adrian,
mate,
so... Now, can we talk about Adrian?
Sure, let's have a chat about Adrian Roberts.
When we finish our show and how people get hold of it here and they do all the stuff and then they zap it out, you know the first bloke is to have a crack?
Who?
Adrian Roberts.
Really?
Has a crack at me.
Why?
Because he likes it.
Does he?
He likes having a crack at me. I think he's a prosman. But he does. He likes to have a little dip, a little sneaky dip.
Well, it'll probably come as a surprise to you. He's not the only bloke that's having a crack at you.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the crow's nest that are having a go at you, mate. Rocky Butterworth, the bloke that produces the show, he's having a go too. So we'll go to a break. A couple of things to come back with and close up. And one is Tex Walker from the Crows.
Cool.
Back in a moment.
Okay.
Risking head and skin. If we're behind, then never mind. We'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weaken till the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger. Yellow and black, we're from Tigerland.
Scott unloading to a fairly vacant forward line. White somehow demanded the ball, attracted it. Ackermanis has had a great day. A brilliant second half from Ackermanis. He caps it off with a goal.
Pretty anxious. I mean, it's a tough job. Why wouldn't you be? Ackermanis on the burst. Goes for goal. Long spearing kick. Cupido's got it. And he'll run around and kick his fourth. They keep coming back.
36 goals in the game. We saw a game yesterday, over 40 goals at Colonial Stadium.
A lovely handball from Lappin. Sets Ackermanis free. And Acker's got it. And he's pumped.
Knocked forward by McDonald. Running onto it, Ackermanis. He'll crash his way through and kick a goal. Ackermanis. Oh, that's exciting, isn't it? That is just terrific football.
Third receives a little more treatment. Fletcher didn't take it. Here's Ackermanis. This is dangerous. He bends it back brilliantly. That's Acker. And that could be the ball game.
McDonald dashes it forward. Here's Ackermanis running. Caught. Got free. Hart. Back to Ackermanis for another quick one to the Lions. Oh, they've got another one.
Talk about dash. How exciting is that?
Takes a bounce. He's got Ackermanis over the top. Can Ackermanis give it back to him, or is he going to go long this time? Onto the left from 60. Gee, that's a great kick.
Oh.
Left foot goal.
Scotty West still waiting his chance. This is dangerous. Ackermanis has stolen it. Ackermanis will go into the open goal for Lions and makes them pay. He's kicked his third.
Running, chinking, bouncing. He goes for the distance with the left again. Can't he get some distance with the left? Oh, Ackermanis.
So a quick chat about Power Richmond, quick one about Crows and North Melbourne, and then Tex Walker. Last year, mate, a total of 15 goals for the season.
Yeah.
He's kicked 17 in 3 games. What's been the turnaround for him?
What's been the turnaround?
We know
Tex?
what's the turnaround. He got
Fitness.
fit. Yeah, he got fit.
Fitness.
Yeah.
I mean, look, no offence to...
And he's got over his injuries, so both
Tex.
those. Yeah.
No offence to Tex, but you could have shown a movie on his bum last year, you know, when he wore white shorts.
Yes.
Tex put on a little bit of a few pounds.
Yeah, he wasn't on his own. So
When he wasn't on his own.
No.
Good point, Phil.
Yep.
Great
so
point.
is it a coincidence that the Crows have won some games, they've come back in better shape?
Well, Tex is in great shape.
Well, a couple of the boys went out and had a couple of big Terps nights on the weekend, so there's going to be a few blokes that won't make it this weekend for the team. But I don't understand. Good to go?
Oh, I thought we were talking about
6 minutes. No, we're finished. Thanks very much, Leslie. Okay. Welcome back to Before the Bounce Pads. Just a couple of things to close out on. Tex Walker.
Yep.
Now, you know I've been a defender of Tex, and he struggled with some injuries last year, and
Yep.
I think there was a little bit of fitness, and I'll get your opinion on it. But
Yep.
last year for the whole season, Tex kicked 15 goals. After round 3, Tex has got 17, leading in the Coleman medal, and the way he's going, if it continues, he'll have 100 goals, and he could win the Brownlow. What's been the turnaround, do you think, for Tex this year compared to last?
fitness.
His fitness?
Purely because he's always had the talent.
Yep.
Tex Walker started when I first saw Tex Walker, Adelaide Oval, elimination final against Port Adelaide in the SANFL.
Yep.
Playing for Norwood before he played for Adelaide.
You liked him?
He destroyed Port Adelaide. I think he kicked about 7 goals. And I remember sitting with a Port Adelaide board member and I'm looking at him and I said, right, that's it. Who's that bloke? Just go and get him. They said, too late. He's already going to Adelaide.
Yep.
Oh, right. Tex Walker. That was Tex Walker. Now, he's one of the best centre forwards that I've seen, I think. No problem at all. I got no issue with Tex.
Yep.
But Tex let himself go a little bit. He had a couple of injuries that set him back, which is okay. But last year, I wouldn't have given you 2 bob for Tex Walker. And there's a few Crows people out there who were the same.
Yep.
Would not have given you 2 bob for him.
Yep.
Should have been, in fact, he should have been dropped. He should have been dropped.
Well, so, all right. So you're alluding to the fact that you're not letting him off just with injury alone. You're saying he came back a little podgy when the season started.
Yeah, he wasn't good, yeah.
Was he the only one?
No, there were others.
So I want to ask that question. You're getting paid a fairly substantial amount of money to
mate.
be an AFL footballer.
You can't do it.
Why would you turn up out of shape?
Well, because...
I don't know.
Adelaide went
are you
through
not
a
proud
period...
of yourself as an athlete to turn up in the... don't you have an obligation to your club?
Yes, you do.
To turn up in your best nick?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But look at what Adelaide...
No, and Adelaide weren't the only club. There's some other players that were in it as well.
Mate. I'll give you one. I'll give you an example there. There was a GWS Giant player who got lapped in a 1,000-metre race.
Yeah.
He got beaten by 400 metres.
Yep.
Now, you tell me, did he come back in good nick? I don't think so.
Might have had a stone in his shoe.
Well, a stone issue.
Or it could have been a couple of...
Very good.
It might have been a couple of kilograms.
Very good, Phil.
Thank you.
Very good. But, yeah, look at what Adelaide have gone through over the last couple of years, though, mate.
Yep.
So you can understand the players feeling, well, am I going to be here next year, sort of thing. Don Pike, the power stance, the camp, all these things mount up.
Yeah.
And you'd be going in your off season going, well,
is it going to happen
I'll
again?
run here, but I'm not running there.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, who's going to be coach?
So we credit Matty Nix for coming in, steering the club into a good position.
From Port Adelaide.
And then suddenly they've got off to a bit of a couple of good wins.
Yep.
And look like they could get a couple of more.
Yep.
So I think
they're doing all right.
All right. Now, what about the Jungle Drums? Just quickly on text that are beating going, the club needs to sign him for 2 years.
No.
What would you do?
A one with an option.
Yep.
I'll give him one and say, mate, you have another year like that, I'll give you another one.
Right.
But you're not getting two.
Okay. All right. 30 years of age?
No, it's not too old.
No.
If he maintained the condition that he's in now, he's okay.
Yep.
I've got no issue.
Yep.
But he only has to get a knock. If he goes down, Adelaide,
Got some trouble. Well, they've lost Talia. Second impact on him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, I think the young lad at fullback's not doing a bad job.
Doing okay.
Jordan Butts, he's not doing a bad job.
So they're okay.
Well, they're not okay. They'd rather have Talia in the team.
Yep.
No doubts. But that lad has shown a bit.
All right. Now, we'll come back to the Piranha, but
bit.
Crows, North Melbourne, Sunday, Marvel Stadium. What are you thinking? Is it the margin?
Get there early
Yep.
to avoid the rush. There'll be a massive crowd there, so I'd get there nice and early. I'd get there 11 o'clock. It's a big one.
Mate,
Mate, there'll be two men and their dog.
will the Crows outnumber them?
They could
Fans
well
with
do
the Crows
that.
supporters
They
outnumber
could
the
well do it. They
Yep.
could well outnumber the North Melbourne ones.
Yep.
No problem at all. But
right.
boy, mate, that'll be a ratings bonanza, that one.
All right, not happy with that. Now, this one will be a ratings bonanza. I know you're a little bit biased, but Power
little bit.
up against Richmond Friday night,
yeah.
7:20 at Adelaide Oval.
Yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful night.
It is, yeah.
Both teams coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's a little bit of last year Richmond knocked us out,
Yes.
which so there's some feeling about this
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I've heard some of the
mate,
players talking about it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
what you thinking for this one?
Oh, wow. It's a tough one. But, I'm not going to go against Port. I think Port will win. But, boy, what a cracker. What a game. This will be a beauty. This will be an absolute beauty. And I reckon it might get a little bit willing.
There's going to be a little bit in it.
I watched Port this morning.
Yep.
Training. In the 5 minutes spare time I get during the day. I was there.
So you saw the whole session.
Yeah, I was down there this morning and having a look, and boy, it was
She was on.
furious. Yeah.
So the one thing
Great game, mate. That's a terrific game.
Kenny's been really good as a coach is whenever they've had a loss, they come back unbelievably strong the following. Damien Hardwick has been
Exactly
very
the
similar
same.
with Richmond.
Yeah, mate.
There's been some articles over the course of the week saying, stop Dusty, do that,
they
Port
won't do
get
that.
the win.
They won't do that.
It's not that simple.
No.
It's not that simple to stop Dusty, but there's a lot of other good players there
Of course
as
there is.
well.
Yeah.
Dusty's not that easy to stop.
No, well, they got him last time.
Yeah.
They stopped him. But then again, the only reason they stopped him was that Damien Hardwick put Dusty forward in the forward pocket, and then the ball didn't go down there.
Yep.
Port kept it in there half rather. So then they said, well, they quelled Dusty. No, they didn't.
No.
The ball just didn't go down there.
Dimmer,
And
Dimmer tried to help you out.
And I think Dimmer was a little bit late getting him out of there and back on the ball.
Now you have
So-
to go up the premiership coach. Jeez,
Well,
you're not
I'm
bad,
gonna
you
go-
Mike.
I'm gonna go-
I tell you,
Well, he's
I'm
a-
sticking up for the coaches forever.
He's an ex-Portman.
Who?
Dimmer.
Oh, that's why he put Dusty down. This will
Played
be
in
a
a
close game
flag,
for
played
you.
in a flag for Port, and also sat in the coach's box.
All right, time for us to go. Hope you've enjoyed the show, everybody. Look forward to your company next week. Bye for now.